On the 25th of September 2022, Mathieu Van der Poel was the headline of major sports websites and newspapers for allegedly getting himself in an altercation with two teenage girls in the World Championship hotel he occupied with his team. What will this high-profile crime spell for the Dutch cyclist, with the esteemed Il Lombardia just around the corner? Stay tuned to find out. Here's a brief account of the knock-and-run game and the altercation that followed. The incident happened between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. the previous night. The Dutchman was in bed trying to get the much-needed sleep for the UCI Road Championship the next day when loud knocks abruptly ended his sleep. As it turned out, the knocks came from two teenage girls, aged 12 and 13, and lived in the rooms next to his, who decided the best way to kill the evening's boredom would be a game of knock and run. However, they might have knocked on the wrong door as Van der Poel was trying to get some sleep. Van der Poel confronted them in anger, which he later admits was a little too much and should have been approached differently. In the altercation, Van der Poel is reported to have pinned one of the teenage girls to the wall by her arm, screamed in her face, and then pushed down the other. The girl sustained minor bruises, and Van der Poel was arrested that same night on a 2-count charge of common assault and got back to his World Championships team hotel by 4 a.m. He was fined $1,500 for assaulting both girls. Van der Poel was still able to start the race he's prepared so much for. However, he would abandon the Wollongong race just an hour into it. Next up, Van der Poel admits to having felt mentally and emotionally estranged. After he was released, the Dutchman was unable to sleep for the rest of the night. According to his lawyer, Michael, Van der Poel feels as though he has disappointed both team and his country. This overwhelming sense of guilt affected his preparations for the race. As earlier stated, he called it quits with 230 kilometers to go. In addition, the cycler is said to have had a bad experience at the Tour de France a few months ago, hence the agitation he felt when his sleep, which is also a preparative method, was interrupted a night to his big day. It's bound to put anyone on edge, a fact his lawyer attested. He puts it this way: many of us would do the same under pressure to perform, and everyone makes mistakes. In Van der Poel's own words, after a few times, I was done with it. I didn't ask so nicely to stop. Yeah, the police were called and I was taken. I wasn't back in my room until 4 o'clock. Videos of the altercation have since appeared on different sports news websites. Moving on to, days after the incident, Mathieu Van der Poel is ready for a new tournament. In recent news, Mathieu Van der Poel has revealed his participation in the upcoming UCI Road World Championship. He seems to have recovered quickly from the incident in Australia and is pushing toward a more memorable future career. All lessons have been learned. The 27-year-old will cycle alongside elites such as Nicolas Roche, Alex Howes, and Peter Sagan in a race that is to happen in Veneto on the 9th of October. Van der Poel is also expected to ride in the Serenissima Gravel that's to happen in Italy next week. Van der Poel and his teammate Gianni Vermeersch are looking toward making their Italy ride the last of the 2022 season. After a short break, both men plan to end the year with a cyclocross campaign during winter. In other news, 7 Portuguese riders, including 3 Volta winners, have been banned from the tournament on alleged grounds of doping. Earlier this year, 10 riders from the Portuguese Continental Squad, W52FC, were suspended by the Portuguese Anti-Doping Authority for failing drug tests. However, recent reports confirm that 7 out of those 10 riders have been sanctioned and therefore banned from the sport for 3 to 7 years respectively. Among the defaulters were 3 Portugal Volta winners. Looking back on history, we should have had our suspicions up already. Now, let's dive into the bubbling news of Il Lombardia 2022. Following the world champion Remco Evenepoel's decision to get wedded on October 8th, the same day the Il Lombardia kicks off, cycling analysts have suggested that Tadej Pogačar has a better chance at claiming the title. Pogačar, who came short of winning the Tour de France, had gone on to claim the Tre Vallevarense midweek, and this hot bowl of opportunity Remco has served him might just be the highlight of the season for the Slovenian. However, even with the absence of Remco Evenepoel, the race isn't a promised victory for Pogačar. He will be riding head-on with big names such as Vincenzo Nibali, former champion Jakob Fuglsang, Bauke Mollema, compatriot Matej Mohoric, and finally Jonas Vingegaard, to whom he lost his title back in July. What exactly is Il Lombardia? Nicknamed the Race of the Falling Leaves, Il Lombardia is the final monument of each season, one which takes riders through the blue coast of Lake Como and down to the surrounding hills of its huge mountains. It was recently rebranded as Il Lombardia, and just in case you're wondering why it is named the Race of the Falling Leaves, this nickname came about because of its autumnal position. In addition, talking about how incredulous the Il Lombardia is argued to be, La Gazzetta dello Sport calls it the most beautiful final 70 kilometers of world cycling. Another spectacular thing about the Il Lombardia is the Madonna del Ghisallo, a small church standing on its summit. The Madonna del Ghisallo is considered a monumental structure, as thousands of bikers make a pilgrimage to the structure yearly. The church accords them the same respect by organizing a mass for cyclists every Christmas Eve. Furthermore, in his biography about Italian cycling, Pedalare Pedalare, which means ride ride, John Foote attests to the value placed on the structure. The Madonna del Ghisallo is a living monument to the memory, the popularity, the beauty, and the physical effort of bike riding in Italy. A number of famous riders even got married here. The shrine symbolizes the sport's continuing hold over the popular imagination and its intimate relationship with landscape and history. Well, that's enough history for today. Now let's briefly scan through the list of participants. Tadej Pogačar is set to defend his title this year, alongside the teeming list of strong heads competing with and in some way against him. As mentioned earlier, Pogačar's first and probably only competition will come from Dane Jonas Vingegaard, the man who put an end to his winning streak in July this year. Other noteworthy names include Alaphilippe Guillaume Martin, Cofidis, who's likely to give a promising outing, Russia's Alexander Vlasov, three-time Vuelta runner-up Enrique Mas, the Briton Adam Yates, Ineos Grenadiers, Valverde, Movistar, Nibali, Astana Kazakhstan, whose race might mark the end of their eventful career. A name that would have sent chills to most of the contenders was Mathieu Van der Poel, Alpecin-Duisenink, who unfortunately lost his chance at riding in this big race because of the incident that happened at the World Championship in Wollongong. In addition, this year's route for the Il Lombardia starts at Bergamo, cuts across Passo di Ganda, and finishes at Como. This start in Bergamo is reminiscent of old cycling tradition, unlike the reversed route that was introduced in 2021. The race is set to begin at exactly 9:10 a.m. UK time and should end between 3:37 p.m. and 4:37 p.m. The race will air live on GCN+, Eurosport, and Discovery Plus from 8:55 to 4:25 p.m. UK time. The rising star, Zoe Bäckstedt. Meanwhile, 18-year-old British prodigy Zoe Bäckstedt is having the best time in her career as a leading figure in the under-23 ranks. Come October 20th, she is set to make an appearance at the CX Ardui, which happens to be her debut in the CX season. This year, Zoe has won both the time trial and road race in the World Championship Women's Junior ranks. This is a striking continuation of last year's streak of wins, where she won all the junior tournaments she raced in. With these trails of success in hand, it's easy to conclude that her team, EF Education Tibco SVB, might have struck gold with Zoe Bäckstedt. She hasn't only dominated the junior fields, she's shown promises among the elites as well. Her win at Essen in 2021 did well to cement this claim. There are tough races ahead of her, as she takes a spot along the elites this year, while also racing as the leading cyclist in the under-23 field. However, for someone who was thought by her teammate Clara Honsinger to be at a level that's definitely beyond her years, there shouldn't be any serious signs of trepidation from the young prodigy. That's all for today. If you have any thoughts about what we've just covered or the cycling world in general, kindly let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time.